Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You are tuned into the Discipline Therapy Podcast. I'm your host, E.L. Discipline, your other host.
Suhey Sotomayor.
This is your Discipline Therapy where everything is completely free. Monthly subscription is free. Commercial, free. Sucker, free. Plenty of liberty. We have that good weed, yes indeed. God and the ancient ancestors are great, and that means everything else is straight. So go grab your wine, whatever you have to do. Make sure the kids are in bed. This is that soul food talk. Prepare your mind to be fed. Light it up, inhale life, exhale strife. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, you are tuned into the Discipline Therapy Podcast. We're here.
We are here. We are here, and we're doing episode 6. But before we get into episode 6, Mr. Discipline.
You gonna ask me how I'm doing this time?
I was gonna ask you how, but you know those type of people that when they were gonna do something anyway, and then somebody tells them to do something?
Yeah.
Lucky for you, I'm not that type of person. So how have you been? How was your week? I see you're unwinding. Relaxing.
Week was good. Very productive. You know what I mean? Like always. But
yes, you were very productive. You got a lot done. A lot of things done.
What about you?
I think I was a little cranky this week. I've been a little on the cranky side.
What else is new? Right?
I'm cranky. You know what? Our viewers, I need you to let me know. I haven't been cranky, right? What are you talking about? I have been perfectly an angel.
Mm-hmm. So you want to share what you've been cranky about?
No.
Okay.
Oh, wait, I should though. You know why?
Because it's going to help.
This is discipline therapy
session.
But you know what? I got it under control. I was cranky. I meditated. I lit some incense. I thought about things and I fixed it. I figured out what was wrong and I'm working on it. So it's okay.
Don't turn into the Sophia character I created in the Stuck Between Two Different Worlds book series.
I mean, I don't know if our viewers know that, I've read all your books.
Uh-huh.
So I don't think I'm going to be carrying around a gun in my purse anytime soon. Although I do have to admit, I have wanted, forever, I've always wanted a little gun. And I've been denied from people who are scared and said no way. But don't worry, I won't turn into Sophia. Although she's your favorite character, isn't she?
Irony, yes.
Because that's not the type of woman you like.
Personality-wise, you know what I mean? But the loyalty, traits.
This is good that you brought her up. This is good that you brought her up because episode 6. Those
major components.
Episode 6 is Sapiosexuals. Woke men and conscious women. Do you think Sophia is a sapiosexual? I think she's learning how to. I think you're making her learn how to.
Here's the thing, Sophia, I made her hood but intelligent. So I would say she's the best of both worlds.
I wouldn't say she's sapiosexual.
Why not?
Hey, I know she's your character, but you don't have to get angry.
Why not? Why not? Like, you can't just say that.
I'm okay.
Elaborate.
I will elaborate. Dom, I would say, is a sapiosexual because he thinks a lot outside the box. He, has a lot of great ideas. Sophia is more, in my mind, she's a doer. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going the right way, I'm going to handle it myself.
Okay.
But I don't think she's a sapiosexual. I don't see that. Maybe as the books have gone, as 6.
So we're probably,
now 7.
For the listeners and the viewers, right? We're probably spitting a lot of terminology they're unfamiliar with. So what do you believe a sapiosexual is? Just elaborate.
Well, I mean, my belief is what the definition is, which is a sapiosexual is someone who gets aroused by, has to have a mental connection, gets aroused by intellect.
So they don't necessarily need to be intelligent themselves. They just require that substance for somebody else.
I think they do have to be intelligent. I think that sapiosexuals are intelligent people, and I'm not saying that Sophia is not intelligent. I'm saying a sapiosexual is an intelligent person who gets turned on and seeks, other people like-minded that can stimulate their mind. It doesn't always have to be sexual with them. I mean, they can't get to that second point without their mind being stimulated. You taught me that. I read that in all your books.
Yeah. My question for you is sexual chemistry or emotional connection? Because in my chapter, in the first book, The Seduction of Discipline, chapter 32, that's the title. So it's a question.
Chapter 32 is The Seduction of Discipline.
Chapter 32
is what's the
is
title?
the title for sexual chemistry or emotional connection in The Seduction of Discipline,
Gotcha.
first book.
I think having an emotional connection, you get more of. This is what I think. An emotional connection, you get more pleasure because you're you're like in tune mentally, you know each other. Sexual chemistry could be here and gone. You know what I mean?
So that's what you choose? Emotional connection?
No, I choose sexual chemistry.
You choose sexual chemistry.
I need to be attracted like off rip, no? I can't just be like, all right, maybe I like them. Let me get a couple of drinks in.
I'm the other one.
Emotional connection.
Not to play devil's advocate, just I'm the other one. And the way I look at it, right? I look at it as I require that emotional connection, as much as the mental. I require that spiritual connection, soul recognition. Like I don't believe in love at first sight. I believe in like soul recognition. So in order for me to have an immense amount of sexual chemistry, I need that prior. Because like you can rile up my loins, but if you're not doing anything to my mind, as I'm in that sexual environment, I'm not giving you my all. Now, you know what I mean? Like when I feel like I connect on those two levels with someone, then the body's just easy. That's for me.
Were you always like that?
Yeah, and I never understood. You know what I mean? I have these, a couple one night stands, and it's like, man, after that, there's nothing, and you don't understand.
Was that disappointing for you? Like, did you want more than that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, everything is connecting, and then once you get to that level, it's like, you want to make sure that, because like I talked about in episode 2, right, about the dom drop stuff and how men feel. There's different chemicals dripping from our brains, right. Oxytocin, the endorphins are kicking in. But I spoke of how in the BDSM terms, we'll get to that, dom drop, and how like after a male orgasms, he goes through perhaps depression and disgust and like hopelessness or some type of confinement or whatever it is, and then that's where that's what like the lust is over,
right?
And then most men, it's like they're bored right away from that, but that's what that is. And I talked about like incorporating more aftercare. it's like to kind of shield that from
kind of
coming
not make
out.
it so heavy, like so.
Yeah, to shield it from like coming out, and that's where that connection takes place, because you could have, these temporary sexual pleasures, 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but it's the connection that lasts long, these memories. You know what I mean? So like, that's why for me, like, it's more than emotional first. Like, if I can't have a conversation with you prior to the bedroom, the little foreplay, then it's like, I could already see.
So, as a younger guy, I'm talking about 16,
20.
23, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You always wanted to have that connection. You would never like, I just want to have sex with a girl and call it a thing. And not really.
I always had that connection. You know what I mean? I've always wanted that connection.
I've always told you you're a special type of man. You are a special type of man, because most guys don't even want the girl to talk. Just be quiet, bend over and shut up. Don't say nothing. We'll be done in 5 seconds. But here you are, even as a young man, like a young teenager, that must be hard.
Even when I'm getting it in, like, I want to talk back.
During the act?
During the act. I'm talking all the way. We discussed this in episode 2. So
I was there in episode 2. I don't remember you saying anything about it. I know you say...
I said I'm talking all the way.
Right, but you never said about having it reciprocated.
Okay, yeah, I didn't. But I love to do, because it's dialogue. It's dialogue.
That's true. Damn it, you're an author all the way, aren't you?
While you're playing sports. You know what I mean? Sex is like exercise. So it's dialogue. You know what I mean? It's conversation. So it keeps it interesting. You know what I mean? So I love that. I love, like, if they're talking back.
Now let me ask you a question.
Not talking back in a way like being a brat. Right. Like, oh, make me and
engaging with you.
Engaging.
Now let me ask you this. I know you say that you get a lot of DMs or phone calls, whatever, saying how for advice. Let's say a guy tells you the same thing. I like being vocal, and I love for a female to be vocal with me, but my girlfriend doesn't like to be vocal. How do I get her to do that? Because not all girls are like to talk dirty. Some people will be like, I feel stupid.
Well, that's the thing. You have to be able to build a safe place for her to come to. Only trust and comfortability will reveal these things. Not every man has the privilege to be granted both those things. Like, a woman could trust you but not be comfortable. She could trust you to the point where, I trust you know what you're going to do, and you're going to give me pleasure, and you'll be pleasured in return. But you know what you're doing, versus comfortable as far as, like you said, like, I don't want to articulate, I don't want to engage.
Or what if they do? Like, what if they do want to, but they don't know? That's
what I'm saying. You have to build that safe place for them to do that, because there's a lot of men out there, right? If a woman is, we've talked about it, I think in like episode 1, where she would come to you and say, "Oh, I want to try this," and you're like, "What are you, like a slut? What are you?" That level of judgment, the level of resentment. So that closes it.
Yeah.
I mean, that closes that open door policy. You know what I mean? Like, so if you're not giving her that space to be able to, you're granting her access into that psychological, the emotional space. You know what I mean? Like, that's the problem.
But you're talking about, like, for couples, I'm assuming, right? Like, what if a guy just likes to, to talk dirty regular, like, he doesn't have to have a girlfriend.
So it's like a sexual relationship solely?
I guess it makes sense what you're saying. So let me ask you a different question. Do you think sapiosexuals always gravitate to other sapiosexuals?
No. No. I believe that women are smarter than we are. I think that's the one thing they have of us. Like when we were created, it's like women have the brains, we have the brawn, and then you have about 10% of men who have, like, he's a triple threat. And he has the brain, the brawn, the physical. But women are more like psychologically dominant.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? They're prone to read more. They're prone to want to learn more. They're prone to want to be trained and elevate. Whereas men, they may be steadfast and
So
and
why
might not. But that's what I'm saying. Like, being that a woman is more intellectual, she's gonna want to seek more of an intellectual man, but it doesn't always work out that way. You know what I mean? Like, and I was talking about it, like, on my post, about, like, are you a sapiosexual, like, but you date men whom, don't know the difference between your and your. You know what I mean? Or there. Where, then and then, the grammar, So, it's like they settle in a way, or they remain single. There's no middle ground. You know what I mean? Like, you dumb yourself down, right, to feel compatible to that person. You know what I mean? Because,
or even so that they don't feel bad about themselves, or so that they can keep up with the conversation.
Yeah, but the things that lead to that is the great sex. Like, he might have some bomb there. You know what I mean? And then now, but he's not on that level.
Mm-hmm.
So
most women
don't want
spirit just to have pleasure.
The thing I would say is,
get them
to that level. The thing I would say is get them to that level, but most women don't want to train. You know what I mean? It's not really in them to want to make a man be a man.
I would say most older women don't want to train. I can tell you right now, I don't want to train nobody. But
I disagree.
I
disagree. I met a lot of women in my time,
both different type of people.
And I've learned from a lot of older women. So
this older woman is not trying to train
young
anybody.
Girls definitely don't want to train.
No way. Young girls are the ones that I can change him. I can love him so much.
That's not training.
That's kind of training.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of training.
It's not training. That's changing someone
Excuse me. Excuse me.
This is class.
What am
raising your hand.
I am a woman, and right now I'm an older woman. But when I was a younger woman, that's what you did. You trained them to, so that he doesn't make a mistake and do something bad, and then you gotta, punish him. I'm gonna give you an example. When I was dating my husband,
punish him
at that time.
Talking about BDSM mistresses and
no, he was supposed to come see me. This is before, obviously, cell phones.
Okay.
I didn't date myself, and I didn't get a phone call, nothing. Regular, on the jack. The next day, he called me. And I hung up on him. I heard the phone. I heard because there was no caller ID, nothing like that. Heard the phone ring, picked it up. Hello, it was him. I heard his voice. I hung up. Did that 3 times in a row.
Really?
Yeah. And then on the 3rd time, he's like, wait. I was in a car accident. Oh, well, you should have found a way to call me. Click. Oh. I'm not trying to train anybody now. I'm too grown. I'm too old. I don't want that. Young girls, they do the training.
I disagree, man.
That's because no one can train you. That's why you're disagreeing.
No.
Regular men can be trained.
Can be trained?
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into this.
Let's go.
Like, we didn't really get into this. So, like, okay, so sapiosexuals are critical thinkers, analytic thinkers. It takes work to think for yourself. So it's like, think on your own, to question everything that's been shoved in front of you. So these sapiosexuals, these woke men and conscious women, they're critical thinkers. They're crucial thinkers. They're analytic thinkers. They're what the new generation want to call woke. You know what I mean? So some of them could be labeled as like conspiracy theorists and things like that. Like they just think beyond the normal brain. You know what I mean? They think beyond the normal person. They look at the world differently. These are also traits and qualities for a sapiosexual, I believe. But going back to like women like just riding a wave. You know what I mean? Like this is the new fad for this month.
What?
Like the sapiosexuals. You know what I mean? Like it's the coolest thing around. Like, if you're gonna be something, if you're gonna say you're something, like, I always tell people to always like live that like 100%. You know what I mean? Like you can't be a sapiosexual. You can't say, oh yeah, I love this. I love intelligence, and that's what turns me on the most. But then, you're with these guys like we mentioned earlier. You know what I mean? Who I know opposites attract. It's what it is. Inequality beats equality, and that's why opposites attract. However, they never mention longevity.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So like those things, like, you have to be conscious of those things. It's about knowledge of self. So it says a lot about like wanting to get to know somebody else. Like you have to know yourself.
Yeah, you have to know yourself.
You know what I mean? Like if you're a corporate educated woman, I believe you have no business with a man who's uneducated. You know what I mean? Unless you're trying to like take him to that next level.
So a man can be with a woman, a corporate man can be with a woman who's not.
I don't think he should.
So either of them shouldn't.
Either of them shouldn't, but some men might find a woman who's less than he is because he's alpha by default.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
So he's in that position because he's alpha regardless.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Now, going back to the sapiosexuals and how they're analytical thinkers and all that, if they're like that, then why would they settle just for like great sex? You know what I mean? After that, just like you said with Dom Drop, after the great sex, then what? Do you think they just kick them out? Okay, thank you. I'll see you tomorrow.
Never know. You know what I mean? Like if a woman is more psychologically dominant, but you're more physically, she could always feel like she could manipulate you because you're just not at that level.
Yeah.
She could play with you. You know what I mean? And it's like
I think they have to be to type alpha. Right? I'm talking about the women now. Alpha sapiosexuals. Because
they definitely have. I believe most sapiosexual women, they're on top of their game in all aspects of their life. Like they're higher than their peers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not talking about like economic or social you know what I mean, status or like financial status, right? But like, they might be a captain of their team, the executive of the corporate world. They're just the problem solver. They're the person that people come to for advice. You know what I mean? Like they could be all those things. So like I don't believe that they're gonna have time for all that other stuff. You know what I mean? Like that's the opposite.
Do you think they're health conscious also?
Yes.
Fitness. That's true because I have a very good friend, love her to death, not gonna say names, but she's very definitely on top of her game. She's very health conscious, super health conscious. So yeah, she's very smart. She's my doctor.
Mm-hmm.
I know. You say, sapiosexuals and do you think that all sapiosexuals have higher IQs?
No, because I believe that sapiosexuals are the definition. Someone who's aroused by intelligence. In that definition, the general definition, it doesn't say they have to be intelligent.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So like you could have a woman who's Uneducated, we'll just say that to be politically correct.
Who just likes a smart guy.
Yes.
Like the college girls like the hood guys, and the hood chicks like the smart guys, or vice versa.
Yeah, but that's right.
Yeah, that's what he
Thanks
said.
for that. You know what I mean? So those men, in a way, could be sapiosexual.
So we've been talking a lot about. I know I've been mentioning a lot of sapiosexual women. What about sapiosexual men? Do you think sapiosexual men? First of all, do you think there are more sapiosexual women than sapiosexual men?
100%.
Because women truly don't.
I believe women are smarter than we are. You know what I mean? So yeah, 100%. Like, I just think when it comes down to like women who are more prone to read, it's like a percentage of like about 90-10. Like women 90%, men 10%.
So those sapiosexual men, do you think looks is like up there for them as far, along with intelligence? Or
Yeah, because they're men. Because they're men. You know what I mean? They have to
so
have.
they always still want to see something that catches their eye first.
Yeah, but like, I've said this in a prior show, right? What attracts a man's attention is not going to inspire his respect. So, as a man, he's going to look. As a man, he's going to naturally be attracted physically, right? But, being that sapiosexual, he's going to want
He's going to be like, let's see what her
longevity. Yeah, he's going to be thinking longevity. Because he might even have a one-night stand, because it's that natural male, those urges, those, you know what I mean? Like, he might have a one-night stand thinking it might be something more.
It might lead to something.
Yeah. Yeah, whereas a woman...
Has that ever happened to you? Like, did you ever, I'm talking about younger, did you ever think...
when I was younger?
Yeah. Because I only, refer to when you were younger, because you're obviously a different type of a man now. Like, you're an adult, you already know what you want. But as younger, you didn't know yet that that's, how it was.
I don't know. They're going to have to go back to the previous shows.
I tried.
Because the prior shows, I'm pretty sure I mentioned that. So they're going to have to go back, and they're going to have to,
Hit subscribe.
And listen
Hit subscribe, listen to it. Hit the like button, the thumbs up. All right.
Yeah, so, there's a plethora of people today, especially women, sapiosexuals. And, it's like, I believe, like, being that they're so conscious, like, I could read the ones who are fake and ones who are. So because I believe that if you're conscious, then sapiosexuals are also in tune with the universe. They're able to read people, feel things, like they could be empaths. They're conscious of what the type of energy they want around them. So for example, a sapiosexual is not gonna be dressed like a prostitute on social media or twerking. You know what I mean? Because she knows that type of energy is not gonna attract.
It's gonna be negative.
It's gonna be negative energy. It's gonna be men that now all of a sudden, don't complain when you have those dick pics in your DM. You know what I mean? Because it's like, that's the type of energy you're putting out there,
right.
And that's what's coming with that.
Now, what do you say though to those people that say, "Don't judge my Instagram page off of what you see on there"?
What I tell them is, exercise your First Amendment right. You could say whatever you want to say. However, and I don't really care what they say, but however, your page is you. So regardless if you want to tell people, don't judge my page by me, you can't expect people to think like you. Just because you think this is for entertainment, or I'm just bored and whatever it is I'm doing is like, I just like these funny memes or whatever, and I'm doing it, like, your page is you. Like, the person that, like, Like words are energy, memes are energy, quotes are energy, pictures are energy. These are the types of things you're gravitating towards your page.
That's
you know what I
energy
mean?
you're putting out. So whatever you're putting out is coming back to you.
Yeah, and I learned that like years ago. But one example, right? When I first started my page, again, I had a page prior to discipline_beast07
On Instagram?
So when I started that page, the page prior, what got me popping was the erotica. That's why the first book did so well. Like I was practicing erotica on social media prior to writing books.
Writing about it?
Writing about it prior to the books. And I was attracting these freaks. You know what I mean? I was attracting these women that were like subs, maybe internet subs, not really subs, but
were they all
subs.
different ages, all different, ethnicities?
Yes. You know what I mean? So that's a prime example. The type of energy that gravitates towards you. Just like whatever you put in out there.
It's like a fishnet, kind of.
Yeah. Whether it's psychological, physical, sexual.
So this is funny because one of the bullet points is, do you think sapiosexuals can be submissive? We just said that we think they're more alpha. They're like alpha in regular life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do you think a sapiosexual can be submissive?
100%. 100%, because it doesn't have anything to do. It doesn't have anything to do with the woman. It has to do with the man she's submitting to. You know what I mean? Like she's appointing him as the leader in the relationship in whatever aspect of her life.
What about a man who's a sapiosexual?
Submitting.
Can he be submissive?
Yeah.
So they're just
there's a plethora of them.
Yeah,
there's a plethora of them. We probably talk about that in the BDSM episode further down the line. But there's a plethora of them. There's these men that run vanilla regular lives. They're corporate. They run the boardroom. These guys have prominent roles in their life. You know what I mean? Could be a governor of a state. Could be a principal of a school. You know what I mean? And then when they go home, they might be like, "Oh, tie me up, spank me, and this and that," because it's therapeutic for them. It's therapeutic for them. You know what I mean? It might be like this is a place where I don't have to make all these decisions in life. Making all these decisions in my day-to-day is stressful. So when I come home and I don't have to make these decisions, it's for them, they feel like a release.
That's true. So for the female sapiosexuals, do you think they're feminists or not really? Can they be feminists?
We talk about that in the feminist episode.
That's true. You're good. That's good. Don't let me jump ahead, because you know I can do that. All right.
So these individuals vibrate on a high frequency. You know what I mean? And we were talking about prior about their health conscious.
Yes.
So being that they're health conscious, they're most likely fitness conscious as well. So they're going to incorporate fitness in their lifestyle. They're going to eat properly. They're going to they can meditate. You know what I mean? So they're training the three major components in the human body: mind, body, soul. You know what I mean? And that's allowing them to vibrate at a high frequency. So, some of them are empaths. They could just feel energy. And, these individuals now start to dictate the energy they want around them. You know what I mean? Like they could dress how they want to be addressed. And they just, the people around them, they feel that if those people around them are going to be completely against what their beliefs, they could have a simple conversation with them and changing their minds one by one. You know what I mean? Like a sapiosexual eventually starts to dictate the type of energy they want around them. You know, I believe. You know?
Do you think men are more inclined to deal with dumber, like women, than women are inclined to deal with dumber men? Than they are, I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, because like we mentioned, man, like they could get that girl because, oh, I'm automatically going to be alpha by default. Like I'm always going to have something up on her. You know what I mean? So that automatically will make me more dominant in a relationship, regardless.
I think men are more also like, I'll just deal with it. I'll just deal with it because they're getting something out of it, whether it be sex or whatever. But
yeah, men, not kings.
Men,
not kings and gods, because
Correct.
kings and gods, they think differently. You know, they're not going to settle, regardless. Like you could be the prettiest final woman on earth. Like, you know, if they feel in their gut that they can elevate this person and they have that confidence and they're a natural born leader and they thrive on teaching, then don't get with them. You know what I mean? Because they have a goal for them at the end of the day. But if they get with them with that goal and it's still not going the way it is, he eventually breaks ties.
Without second thought, without looking back.
Without looking back. Okay. You know, but will women be with dumber men? It depends. You know, like we said prior, like, you know, he could have, you know, sexual chemistry. You know, they could have great sexual chemistry. They just don't.
I mean, that's pretty much all that they're gonna have in common.
I mean,
and it better be bomb too, because
good sex can drag up a bad relationship.
We spoke about that with what? Good.
No. They gotta go back. They gotta go back and listen.
We're switching roles now because before you were the one that was like, oh, but in this episode, and I was like, no.
Well, you know, this is like a free everything show. You know, sucker free, commercial free. You know, so this is the first season. I'm trying to like give them stuff. I'm trying to brand us, man. I'm trying to get us out there to like advertising. That's like advertising, I feel. But now we're at this point where we're mid-season. You know, so now it's like, no, there ain't gonna be no freebies. Like they gotta go back now.
That's true. Go back.
They gotta go back now. But not all men care about like a woman being sexy, pretty, spoiled. You know, some of us are waiting to hear what comes out of your mouth. You know what I mean? Some of them are waiting to see how you carry yourself. You know, we can be watching you from a distance. You know, have I what?
Have you ever? Has that ever happened to you? I have so many questions right now. Have you ever been talking to someone and you've agreed to meet them out somewhere? And like, let's say you get there and you spot them and you say, you know what, let me fall back and see what's going on. Has it ever happened where you did that and you've gotten up like that's how she's gonna act? Yeah,
I've done that, and I've also got to the point where we didn't meet because I just like I would see things on social media or
so before you even got to the meeting.
Yeah,
face to face.
And then it was like, this person.
Do you explain to them? Like, do you ever give them an explanation as to why, or you just dead them?
I just dead them.
Ladies, get your books out.
I just dead them. But
really,
but it depends. Here's the thing: if it was like a person that was, you know, I talked to for like a couple of weeks or like, you know, months. You know what I mean? Like that's a difference. You know, if I just talk to you in a couple of days, I'm deading you without notice. You're fine without notice, right? Don't go to HR. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. But if we built connection, like we're talking for months and months, then I'm telling you, listen, this is why I don't want to talk to you anymore. And it's like I do that to them for them to know what they did. In case they're going into the next relationship, because you can fuck a woman up. like that. Oh, you know what I mean? Like
That's true.
she might think she had something, and then it's like, oh, this man didn't do it. Now she has a fear of abandonment. You know what I mean? They never explained anything to her. But my thing is, I'm if I build that connection, I'm gonna explain it because it's the courtesy. But at the same time, like I'm not gonna accept it if she just starts to change because now you change. Like if you're a grown woman, you should know certain things you're doing. You know what I mean? That it's like, come on, it's courtesy. You know, so like for me, I think that way.
That's a good way to think, though. I mean, it's. I used to tell my son, like, don't, you should, if you're gonna leave, with an explanation, not even for you, but for her to, to progress in her life or in her next relationship. Like, you don't want the same thing to happen to the girl, and then it's like a cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think sapiosexual is a type, like a body type, or they dress a certain way?
Okay, so you were saying about
If you think sapiosexual is a type, a body type, they dress a certain way.
No, I think sapiosexuals are all types.
All shapes and sizes, come from all types of places. Young and old?
Yes.
Definitely young and old.
Yes.
Not just a mindset then, right?
Yeah, it's not just a mindset. I mean, any man can give you sex. It takes a real man to make love to you with his words.
Yeah.
So it's like for the women that like claim they're sapiosexuals, right? It's like like when a man approaches you and you guys are connecting, if he's not feeding your mind, how's he touching your soul? You know what I mean? This is one of the reasons why I don't believe in love at first sight. I believe in like soul recognition.
But why not love at first sight?
It's not love at first sight. It's soul recognition. I think people are confused. Just my opinions.
No, that's true. I mean, a woman's mind requires just as much massaging as her body, if not more, especially.
This goes back to like more in depth, like twin flames and telepathic.
What's a twin flame?
It's like a soulmate. You know what I mean? Telepathic.
A soulmate. I agree with you, and I don't mean to interrupt, but a soulmate is a different. It doesn't just have to be like a sexual relationship. You can have friends that are soulmates. You have a soul family. That's what I believe.
Yes. 100%. 100%. Sapiosexuals are queens. You know what I mean? They they can be submissive, and kings, men, kings. They could be submissive. They're prominent figures in their life. They're goal oriented. They're ambitious. And like I said, they look at the world differently.
Now, these people, these sapiosexuals, that they are attracted to intelligence. People with high IQs
tend to have insomnia. Yeah.
That explains a lot about me.
Yeah.
I don't sleep at night. Oh, you're so nice. You just went with that. Normally you'd be like, yeah, okay.
Women, like, the thing is, like, their minds are always racing. You know what I mean? Like, I've gone through that so many times till this day. You know what I mean? I need certain things to, help me sleep. Indica, cannabis, reading, lime water, just reading, working out sometimes, just getting myself exhausted, my mind, because my mind doesn't stop. You know what I mean? And it's like I'm at the point in my life now where it's like my mental and my physical are in sync. So it's like the mental motor and the physical motor, they go at the same time. It's like it's like hard, sometimes.
I bet. I would think that your mind just races so much more because I see, emails and whatnot, text, business, business related at like
Mm-hmm.
3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 4 in the
Yeah.
morning.
Yep.
And I wake up and I'm like, why isn't this man asleep? So what kind of pickup line have you ever? So you're a sapiosexual yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and you're attracted to other sapiosexuals.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna ask you, what kind of pickup line have you used? Ooh, and has been used on you? Obviously, because I'm gonna go with women who don't know the type of lifestyle that you're in,
Mm-hmm.
and just see your exterior must hit on you like you're a regular guy.
Yeah, I think the line. Nah,
No,
I
what?
think a line for me would be like, you know, like I'm gonna read all your books.
Oh, to get
Yeah,
you,
my attention. You know what I mean? Like
ladies. I'm
I'm.
doing you guys a favor right now.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna go through the line. I'm gonna go through the line, but I'm gonna wait till the final thoughts to go through that because I got something I want to read
Oh,
to people
boy.
for people. But scatologic, sapiosexuals maybe. You know what I mean? And that's like a fetish for like aroused, vulgar. It's a fetish for someone who's aroused by vulgar, obscene language, literature, erotica, poetry. So
What are those called?
scatologic.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Most women are attracted to non-physical things. You know what I mean? Like you could be the ugliest man in the world, right? And if you're ambitious, hardworking, intelligent, a great speaker, creator, you're creative, you gain a few points with them. You know, you go from being like an okay guy to like handsome.
Mm,
You know what I
that's
mean?
true. That's what they say also with
Because
humor.
most women are emotional. So it's like any way you touch her emotionally, forget about it. She's gonna gravitate towards you. You
That's
know?
true. That's true, because if a woman is having a bad day and she goes to the bar or whatever, you could tell I watch a lot of movies. And the guy picks up on her having a bad day, but
Yeah.
he hits her with like a joke. Now he makes her crack a smile. Boom, he's in.
Yeah. And like I believe like all women love men who are intelligent. All women love because that intelligence is gonna lead to ambition. And it comes down to hard working. Like women love hard working men. So like hard working is like it correlates with dominance, I believe, for them in their subconscious. And it's like
Stability.
and anything, yeah, but anything that's dominant for how a woman feels as a man, like if everything that a woman feels is dominant for a man that she views, it like triggers arousal in a female psyche. So like women look for two things in men: dominance and aura. They may not be conscious of it.
Dominance and
aura. I wrote that in the first book, The Seduction of
Aura.
Discipline. Yeah, dominance and aura. You know what I mean? And you know, like it's like, yeah, money's great. You know what I mean? She may be attracted to you because of money, but it doesn't correlate with power. You know, it doesn't correlate with dominance. You know, like I said, you know, there's men out there who are wealthy. They could be governors of states and stuff like that, and they go home and they're totally different with their significant other, or they're different with other people. You know what I mean? So money doesn't correlate with power.
I think young people nowadays do, though, correlate the two, money with power. Especially the young, the young girls and young boys. Young boys think that they have to now make a lot of money to get a lot. We have there's celebrities that talk about, don't give me a 9-to-5 man. I want a fast money type of man.
Yeah, that's not a.
That's a terrible thing.
Listen. To each their own, but
that's terrible.
To each their own. But I feel like this. I feel like if that's your mentality, you better have a really good backup plan. You know why? Because if you're listen. Let's say hypothetically, you're a female entrepreneur, and you're getting with a male entrepreneur. Okay, so y'all both gotta like you got a thing in like a gig in Colombia or something, or you gotta go sign papers and start up a business in Saudi Arabia, whatever. And your significant other is just on a totally different part of the world. Y'all taking trips, y'all working crazy. Y'all don't have time for each other. That's number one, right? Number two is if you are an entrepreneur, male or female, and you say that you don't want somebody that's working 9 to 5 or whatever it is, then if you're a male, you're probably gonna want a home wife.
Mhm.
So you have to think about what's gonna come with that as well. If you're not allowing her to work, what's gonna come with that? If you're a woman and you want that in a man, then it's almost like you want him to be your assistant. I'm asking. Like you want him to be your assistant? That's number two. Number three is here's the thing, man. Here's the thing.
Oh.
And this is the thing as an issue I have with that. Because when you work a job, right, after 3 months you get benefits. That's part of working a job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could eat off the business. Sick days, vacation because you have seniority, insurance, 401k. Now, God forbid, let's say I'm an entrepreneur, right? I'm a wealthy man. I'm a business mogul. I got all these businesses. You are my wife, and I don't want you to work. God forbid I get hurt
Then y'all all fuck.
because I'm the breadwinner. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm the breadwinner. So it's like, you know, those are things that you have to, that's what I'm saying. If you want that, everybody's entitled to what they want, right? Everybody wants what they want, and they are entitled to that. They work hard and they strive to get that. They are entitled to get that. But that's why I said the backup plan. Like, really think about what you're saying. Really think about what you really want. You know what I mean? Because like being an entrepreneur is great, but having like a side thing that is giving you benefits, where you could eat up
That's
the
giving you-
company.
yeah.
Yeah,
And a
like
paycheck.
you for example,
There's
right?
still bills that gotta get
for
paid.
For example, you could be an entrepreneur and then work at the hospital part-time where you're getting all these benefits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you're able to now bring your kids into those benefits as well. So you still
Yes.
keep that for that. You still keep that for those benefits. You know what I mean? And you still do your thing. You know what I mean? So that's why, like, that's what I'm saying. Everybody's entitled to want what they want, but think about really what you're saying. Don't say it because
Don't
it
just say
sounds
it,
cool.
right.
Don't say, "Oh, I want a rich man."
Right.
You know what I mean? I want a rich man, so I don't need to work, or whatever it is, or whatever. That's what you love. That's what you feel, that you want that stability. You want that structure. You want somebody to take care of you. That's fine to feel that, but think about what could come with that. Think about the possibilities. I feel you always have to think about the possibilities. I'm about a backup plan guy. I think about a plan A, but I try to build a plan B and a plan C just in case. Just in case. You know, my father always told me, you know what I mean? And it's a big irony because, you know, and we'll get to that in the BDSM because he's a reverend, big reverend. And I'm just like the black sheep. I'm just like the black sheep of the family. You know, the tattoos and all that, right? Labeled as the bad boy. I'm the black sheep. So, but my father always taught me when I was young, you know, and he's not from this country. Yes, he's a U.S. citizen, but he's not born from this country. You know,
Like
he's born
my
in
parents.
Haiti, right? So, but the thing is, he always used to tell me, like, I don't have education here, but he's very intelligent. You know, he could fix cars and he could do all these things that he was doing in Haiti. He's like, I don't have an education here in USA, but you should have an education. You should always have a backup plan. I played football and wrestling. You know, he would always say vagabond, sports, and in Creole that's like hoodlum. Vagabond is like hoodlum. So he's like, those are like hoodlum. Those are gangster sports. Those are not like he always wanted me to play soccer. Because that's what he did.
your dad should meet my dad.
He was a big time soccer guy. He traveled to like Brazil and Haiti and Colombia, right?
Is that where you got your name from?
My real name?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, Pele. See, I know soccer too.
It's Son. Yeah, EDSON. But it's you know what I mean? Like he always taught me that. Like, make sure you have a backup plan. You know what I mean? And at the time, like, I'm like 12 or 13. You know, it doesn't sit with you. You know, I want to watch Ninja Turtles or WWE wrestling. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really care what you're saying, but I'm just like, okay, yes, Poppy. Like, I'm just, you know what I mean? But I just want to go play Ninja Turtles. Like, so I'm just yesing you to death. So it doesn't register at that time.
Right.
Once you get older, and you're like, damn, you know,
That
Poppy
makes
was
sense.
right.
Right.
Like, you start thinking, you know, this way. So like, you know, just have a habit of just jumping off topic. Women love conversation. It doesn't matter what type of conversation it is. Women love conversation. Even arguing. Women love to argue. It's almost
Not
like a
all women
sport.
love to argue.
Women love to argue. Okay, if they don't argue, they debate. I mean, I love a good debate. I love a good, healthy debate. We're not disrespecting each other. We could agree to disagree. I love a good, healthy debate.
I do too.
But, you know, I feel like, yeah, they either love arguing or they love the debate.
I think it depends on the person.
And y'all always got to have the last word. I don't know. What is that? And y'all store things like in a book. Like you keep like mental documentation and you store things. You're like, oh, page, 200 in like 2000, whatever, 13, this happened. And you just want to bring it up.
That sounds like a diary.
Store old stuff to bring it up.
Are you saying that women like to write in their diaries or their journals?
Some.
I know I do. I write in my journal.
Some of them keep a mental diary. You know what I mean? Some of them keep a mental
I know
diary.
some men who like to argue as well and have the last word. Just saying.
Me?
I'm just saying I know men in general, but I mean, if the shoe fits.
Nah, I don't have to have the last word. That's not my thing.
No?
Nope.
Okay. Do you like to argue?
I'm at the level of peace in my life. I don't like arguing.
So you don't feel like you don't have to argue with anybody? Or you don't have to have the last word?
I don't like arguing with people. You know what I mean? My thing is this, right? If we're friends, we're going to agree to disagree. If you're a stranger and we have these different beliefs and stuff like that, like, I'm a conspiracy theorist, and if you want to talk to me about how the world was created and this and that, okay, we could disagree to disagree. We could agree to disagree. However, if it's like something about like racism, like we're not gonna be friends any longer. Because that's something that, like, I'm not going to argue with you upon. Like, especially if you're not black. I have Caucasian friends as well, and it's like, they view racism the way I view it, even though they're privileged, and that's why we're still friends. But it's like, it comes down to that. That's the only exception for me. Racism is the only exception.
And talking about your mom.
So yeah.
That's something. I don't even think that would be a conversation.
That
You just punch them in the face.
No, I'll walk away. I would I used to be an ex-boxer, so you get to a point in your life where you're like, I could break your nose. I can send you to the hospital. Let me walk away. If you want to call me all these names and try to emasculate me however you want to do it, that's great. But let me walk away because I know what I'm capable of. So I'm not
tremendous control.
I'm not gonna allow you to try to take that type of power from me, because my power is calm. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's different. But then again, you have the flip side where, people can have different energy when they're in front of you. They could be so tough, if you're going through text or on the computer.
Twitter fingers, yeah.
But when they're in front of you, it's different. Like, they want to shake your hand, or they might walk away. They might see you walking down the hallway or something like that, or across the street. They turn the other way. Like, it's a different energy. When you're in front, like the physical interaction, it's a different energy. And we don't know. We're like unaware of it, but we're spirits in flesh.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You may feel things. You get a headache out of nowhere. Your stomach ache out of nowhere. Chills out of nowhere. You know, and that's like that's
Science.
the intuition.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I agree with that. I totally believe that.
Yeah, so I believe that woke women and woke men are educated. They're educated enough to not believe what they've been taught. So, final thoughts.
I think, sapiosexuals, true sapiosexuals and woke men and women will always have a more difficult time finding a person to connect with, whether it be romantically, with in friendships. It's just, because those people are mentally on an elevated level.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so it's gonna be difficult, but keep your path, keep your faith, and know that there's other people out there like you. And if as long as you stay true to yourself and patient, fill your life, your everyday with meaningful things, it'll happen. You'll find the person that you're compatible with, and that person might not be a sapiosexual like you.
Yeah.
Those are my thoughts.
I had to light up real quick. So earlier you asked me about a sapiosexual line, like a pickup line.
Yes.
All right, so I got something.
Hey.
She appears as if she's been hurt, and now her heart is cold. I'll change her thoughts on men. I hope to engulf her soul. She's out of this world. My Pluto wants to entice her Mars. Dance with her like she was the universe, and we take trips to the stars. She was like a Nas, Rakim, KRS-One, Big Daddy Kane, Big Pun. Jada Kiss, Lloyd Banks, Fabulous, Styles P, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Eve, Rod Digger, Remy Ma, Lauryn Hill, Jay-Z, Pac, and Biggie Classic, on a shelf full of mumble rap and trap music. Prior to me walking up to her, I observed her from a distance. I traced her curves with my gaze. Her seductive body movements were exquisite, where men could just not read. She appeared like a spiritual type, but nothing like a religious sight. I ain't seen none like her. Get it? A nun like her. Did you get that?
Hey,
Okay.
I did not get until you explained it.
I could tell her mind shines bright, even when her thoughts seem darker. A quiet type, but her soul talks. I sense her repressed desires, waiting for someone to have her soul on fire. I witness her by herself, reading her book. I walk up to her steadily. She wouldn't even grant me a look. Excuse me, miss, what's that mind like? Yes, you heard me right. If you were a book, I'd read you all day and all night. Lick my fingers, open you up, and spread your pages wide open. Your spine would crease and you would lay there spent as I shoved my big consciousness between your literary content. Anticipation of every sentence, heightening climax, and witnessing ideas squirt right on top of that desk. The desk you lay your elbows on as your palms hold up that book you're deep in. Let me get deep in. I mean that intellectual and mental penetration. And yet again, she continues to stare in her book and pays me no mind. But I'll wait my time. I'm not done yet. I pay her with the reality check. I spoke again. Miss, it's inevitable. We will be positioned horizontal. And then I'll demand you look me in my eyes when I fuck you. I will place my big, muscular hand on your throat, but I won't squeeze. Now you do exactly as I say, as I witness your eyes begging me please. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the king of erotica, the ultimate dominant in the BDSM lifestyle. I don't care what you say. Often imitated but never duplicated. EL Discipline books are on sale everywhere and on every portable electronic device now. Google EL Discipline and find all my works. I am the best author in the world. And I don't say that to sound presumptuous. I say it because I believe in the product that I wrote, I proofread, and I edited myself. If you challenge this notion and don't believe in it, purchase a book and prove me wrong.
That was really good. You know what? Can you write my final thoughts too? Because that's not fair. It's not. All I'm gonna say is you're an author. That's
I'm
not
not just an author,
fair.
I'm a writer.
You're an author and a writer. All I do is write, and mine isn't that good.
Yeah, but
Show off.
I love this session. I love this this episode. Yeah.
Who did you write that about?
I plead the fifth. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in.
Thank you very much.
You were tuned into the Discipline Therapy Podcast. Peace.
Good night.